Hey traders, Richard here from Ninjacators, and welcome back to the latest market structure update for this week. Right, today I'm just going to look at the ES, the latest market structure. But if you guys want to see maybe like the Nasdaq or the Dow, I also sometimes cover crude oil and gold, then let me know down in the description if you'd like to see the latest analysis on those markets as well. But since we're talking about market structure, again, just looking at the ES here, we can clearly see that the ES and all the indices for that matter is in a very strong bullish market. Obviously, price has been making high highs, higher lows, very short little pullbacks on the way to the upside. And as you probably know by now, bull markets are defined by higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. Right, then recently, I think this was since the end of last month, we start getting this zigzag pattern down to the downside, right? Now, I'm currently still viewing this as a correction. Price would need to travel quite further down, in my opinion, for market structure to change. Now, I potentially indicate that the ES preparing to make either a deeper decline, whether that's corrective or potentially during the medium or longer term change trend for a period of time. But since the market structure is still bullish, very, very bullish, as you can clearly see, we would need to see, in my opinion, one of two things to potentially show that the ES and all the other indices for that matter, of course, since they typically follow each other in direction, is gearing up for deeper decline if price were to start breaking these previous high lows here. All right, around about 5,167. Now this is on a 4-hour time frame, so I'm giving a bit of a bigger picture view. Sometimes traders lose a little bit of perspective by just focusing on the smaller time frames. We also have the latest CPI numbers due tomorrow, so that's going to be very, very important for me, especially trying to figure out whether this was just a zigzag or an ABC or the most common correction that we typically get in the markets, whether that has already ended or whether we're going to get another decline to the downside. Now, I think those CPI numbers might be the catalyst that will very soon tell us whether we can expect a deeper decline over the long term, medium term, or whether price is just going to go up towards new highs. All right, so for me, I just want to focus on this decline that we've seen since the end of last month. All right, and again, as I mentioned, this potentially could have been a zigzag. Some traders call them ABCs, and again, it is one of the more common corrections that you get, bullish or bearish markets. All right, now ABCs or zigzags, as they call it, they typically have a certain amount of characteristics that they display and continually display that they like to, show when they actually do pop up. Now, the first one being is if this was a first decline, some call them an A wave. You have a little bit of a bounce that fails to go to new highs. People call it B wave. Then you get a C wave. Your C waves during ABCs or zigzags typically reaches the same distance as what your A wave moved in. So we call that parity, right? And you can easily use, for example, a fib extension tool and measure the distance your A wave traveled this way to downside and project that from where the end, in this case, was a lower high, where the B wave ended. And you can see that the C wave moved, in my opinion, the minimum distance, which is generally 100%. Sometimes on the Nasdaq, which I'm not going to show now, it actually traveled, if you do the same thing, exactly 100%. So it's met that minimum requirements for a C wave. Again, this could potentially be a C wave that ended, and price is now gearing its way to go back to the upside again. That being said, we have a 3-phase or 3-wave move down to the downside. If these CPI numbers come out or any other news event and we start seeing another sell-off here and price breaks this previous low that was set last week at around about 5,190, give or take, then we're going to be sitting with a 5-wave decline, right? So in that perspective, using a little bit of pattern analysis and market structure, we're going to shift to a 5-wave decline. Now, 5-wave declines can mean one or two things. We either have a 5-wave decline of a much larger A that finished, potentially get another bounce that fails to go to a new high, with another C wave down to the downside. That could, in this instance, take us much lower from where price is currently trading at. Or alternatively, and this is a little bit more of a darker view, a 5-wave kickoff could, for example, lead to another bounce, and then we get an extended third wave phase to the downside, which could even lead to a much deeper decline. Right, that's just something to consider. If price were to break 5190, and especially I think 5167, that this might become a reality. I'm still viewing any sort of decline, even if it does occur, as just a deeper correction. Right, so I mean, this really strong bull run that's been lasting now since last year October has been extremely strong. All of these little corrections that we've seen to the downside, were very, very short-lived, and another move back to the upside followed. Also, something that's really interesting during this strong trend to the upside, if you look at these previous corrections and you go and measure them, how far they traveled, and you go and project it from the recent high, then you'll see that this recent ABC, which I still think could be a zigzag, ended at a 100% extension of that. This is what we called measured moves. So typically during a trending market, you'll have corrections, especially the larger ones, travel sort of the same distance when you get another deeper decline. Here's another one. If we measure this decline over here, for example, projected to that recent high, also slightly more than 100%, but also very, very close. And just looking at the shape here, like I mentioned, potentially the end of a zigzag. Now, if we have to look at the bullish case of market structure here, it does look like price is currently tracing out a little bit of a triangle. Again, I'm looking here on the 4-hour time frame. Then is a bit more evident if you go to a smaller time frame. If we get a breakout to the upside, a breakout of what looks like, I mentioned, a triangle here, then that could potentially just further confirm that a ABC has indeed ended around about 5,190. Right, obviously a break above the lower high over here, which is potentially that B wave high, sorry, around about 5,308, could potentially then mean that, or strengthen the case that that correction has indeed ended, and that we could expect a further move to the upside to new all-time highs. Right, so very simply put, just looking a little bit of the market structure, where we're currently trading at. Again, the catalyst of showing us which direction price wants to be heading could be coming as soon as tomorrow's CPI numbers, which will typically involve a lot of volatility. All right, so either up or down. Obviously, that's what the market's going to be doing, up or down or sideways. But just from a market structure perspective, if we do move down, I'm expecting a deeper decline, which could potentially also just be corrective. And then next time when we do another market structure video, I'll update you guys on where price is at that moment. Alternatively, another move to the upside, an ABC just ended around about 5,090, and we're heading up, in my opinion, to new all-time highs for the year. And that's pretty much it for today's analysis. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and remember to subscribe to this channel for future updates, or consider joining our Ninjacator Fast Track program, where you can get hold of all of our indicators in the Ninjacators universe, as well as all our professional strategies. We also do daily live training session and trading sessions that is also included in the Fast Track program. So there'll be a link below in the description for that, so please go check it out. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and goodbye.